I wanted to do a demonstration of how I'm going to set up my LBV88, and because I'm transitioning away from the Alice LBE now. I already talked about how to set up your Alice LBE. I talked about it, but I haven't demonstrated it, so this is a video of demonstrating how I do it. And it's just an example of how I'm using my brain to think about my standard behavior and standard procedures when on patrol or whatever mission I'm probably going to be under when I am wearing this. So I'm going to have security halts, but a lot of times I want to be able to do certain things, like I want to be able to drink water, I want to be able to bump mags forward after a firefight without having to take my hand off my rifle. I want to be able to reach certain medical equipment that's basically poo butt, little things like chapstick, insect repellent, or whatever. But I'll most likely, when the time comes for me to be able to do that, it's going to be when I have time, when I have enough time to, or I'm on a 50-50 where I can take the time to sit there and pretty up my lips or get the bugs off me or whatever, instead of just living with them comfortably like a good warrior. But anyways, so I want to have those things within reach, and obviously, a water source where you can hold on to the weapon while you're hydrating yourself and stuff like that. So, with all that said, first things first is I've set this thing up a while ago, and I need to check it again, make sure that the fitting is just right. So what I do is I just tighten this thing up all the way. I want my mags forward on me when I have this thing, but obviously it's going to move back a little bit when I'm wearing a bunch of crap on here. So I make sure my belt is actually not too snug, but it's actually got room so I can fit about a fist in between here. So gives me a good amount of room for, when I'm wearing a lot of layers, or, if I eat a big Thanksgiving meal or whatever. So I have the dimensions exactly where I want, and I already had this pre-plotted for wearing a smock, and I had the electrical tape basically stopping it right about here and here. I have a butt pack attached because it makes sense with the pack that I have. I have the IIFS Combat Patrol Pack, so it works with this. So I'll carry some stuff in my butt pack, but that's mostly going to be stuff that I am basically going to be on a 50-50. I'm not going to be required to wear all this crap and have my rifle in my hand right away. And now I need to figure out where I'm going to lay all this stuff up. So I figured out that I want 2 canteens. First canteen, I want to have that more readily available than my extra ammunition. So I want to have that right behind this frag grenade pouch. The frag grenade pouch does take away a little bit of the real estate from the belt, but you are moving 6 magazines up onto your chest, so this gives you a lot more room. Well, not a lot more, but it gives you more room than the LBE setup. But still a good system, but just not for the springtime. For me, I can carry more ammunition, and it's pretty comfortable because I'll be taking off layers. So I'll need more padding on my shoulders. So I can have a canteen right here. This makes it very easy to get to, and it's not obstructing my ability to get these mags. So having it right on the belt here, just behind the grenade pouch, works out pretty well. Now I will need to coordinate with this belt loop right here. Make sure that this loop is basically against this adjustment tab, and then put this loop right in between these Alice clips right here, and try to spread these out far. That way it gives it plenty of room to move as I move, because that's one of the cool things about the LBV88 is it moves kind of moves with you. It's kind of floating on there. So that's the key to the LBV88, is you still need weight, symmetry of weight, and you need to give these loops an ability to move with you and stuff. So make sure that it's got some room in between the clips there, and that it's not basically just laid out flat and you're laying all your gear on there and basically preventing these from going where they want to go to kind of form this vest to your body. So that's laid out. Now the other canteen, it's not going to be an emergency. Basically when I'm done with this canteen, I'm going to replace it. So I'll just do a switcheroo. And I want to have that on my belt system because I might lay down my pack during a fight or something like that. So I'll just put that right here, right up against the butt pack. Now I'm going to have to be very specific about where I'm putting this on my pack. So what I'll do is I'll basically mark where it is, and then mark the belt loop that I want to go underneath it. So basically that would be this belt loop right here. I want this one to basically go between the Alice clips, and I'm going to need to mark it on the belt itself, because if you lay this thing out flat, all these loops are going to move. So you want to mark it, and so you want to mark where that loop is. And I found this little eye hole on the belt, so I would hold my finger on there and then take this thing off and immediately attach it if it's very specific like that. So that belt, that eyelet right there is going to be right in the middle of these two Alice clips, and also this loop right here. So that's how you set up this system once you decide where you want to put everything. Now the next thing I want to figure out is where I'm going to put my medical kit. This is also going to be quite important, and I will go ahead and put this on my firing side, because number one, I say medical kit, but it's really an IFAK for somebody else to use on me if I get tagged. So basically, I'll put this in an area where I can still reach my goodies, my little insect repellent and my chapstick, so I can have pretty little lips when I die. But basically, I'm going to put that right underneath. I want to put that right underneath this mag pouch, so it's still within reach. I'm not stressing myself out. I'm not threatening to dislocate my shoulder in order to get to it when this thing is on. It's just right here, and I can reach this little pouch. This little pouch right here, this little Velcro pouch, this is what has everything I need. My sunscreen, my bug repellent, and all that other crap. So all my little poo butt stuff that I would only really be able to use on a security halt, where I'm able to, take my hand off the pistol grip for a second, I'll be able to get to it and not be sitting there straining myself around or anything. So that's what I would do. And in the same procedure as with the sustainment canteen, you find exactly where that is on the belt when it's all snapped up, and you hold that, and then you put it on. Specifically, make sure it's in between belt loops within a common sense kind of area. So yeah, with all that said, I'm going to go ahead and attach this, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So I've set everything up as you see. The medical pouch didn't exactly go back here. I actually was able to move it forward because I'm still able to access this emergency equipment without interfering with this single mag. So that's the cool thing. They don't put the double down here and the single up here. They actually put the single up here and the double here. So it works out really well, and it makes this very comfortable in the prone too. So with all that said, that's basically my layout so far. I actually have room here. If I wanted to actually attach my pistol mag or my pistol holster, I actually have enough room here. So obviously I'm not going to be able to fit my entire pistol up here. Even with this thing on, it's not going to allow the grip to be too comfortably on here, and I wouldn't be able to reach it too comfortably. So, if I wanted to, I actually have enough room to put it on here, and it's actually in a spot where it's pretty comfortable. And if I were to draw this thing, the unfortunate part is that the medical kit would kind of get in the way of me actually getting this thing on target right away. That's the unfortunate part. I would have to get it all the way out of the way and kind of go around, kind of side hook. But that's one of the reasons why I actually have it on my pants belt, is it rides a little bit lower, not by much, but a little bit lower, and it's a little bit more out of the way. So I'm also just not adding more weight to the vest unnecessarily, because all the pressure is going to end up being on my shoulders instead of really my hips. So that's why you have more padding. It kind of disguises the weight a little bit better in my opinion. So anyways, I have the canteen here, but I still have a lot of room back here. So this allows me a good amount of flexibility having a room here and here, and it's a good amount. And so I've done pretty good with the belt loops, giving them them having freedom of movement and everything, and I can kind of move these canteen clips together, and I'm still good. I'll have all my navigation equipment in here, navigation and observation equipment, so I can have extra ammo here. I'm going to take an ammo pouch. This one, it doesn't have any of the plastic reinforcement up here on the lid, so it's kind of floppy, but still pretty tough nylon. And I cut off the grenade, little pieces a long time ago, so it's not taking up unnecessary amounts of room. So I can actually put this right up against the canteen here, and yeah, putting it about there will allow me to still get to this extra ammo, but it'll be a little harder to do. But this is my bump pouch. So bump pouch, I have 3 extra magazines, and I'll be able to bump the magazines for it. Also, even with that, I'll still have a good amount of room. So I could add 2 theoretically, or I could actually go ridiculous and add a saw pouch. Do I want to do that? Not right now, because this is for AUG. This is for an AUG, not an AR, though I do have the NATO stock. It's not really all that reliable, so I'm not going to commit myself to putting rounds on that stock system. So I'm going to work with the regular AUG. I only really have enough to fill up one of these. When that changes, I may look at actually putting a saw pouch here, but again, we want to be aware that we need to be cautious that we are not disturbing the symmetry of our left and right weights. So we're not disturbing the left and right weight symmetry. So I'm going to go ahead and add this on, and then we'll go ahead and evaluate, the balance. I'll fill these up, and yeah, I'll fill these up with water and see how the symmetry is, and I'll fill this up with some loaded AR mags. Carries the same amount of rounds, weighs about the same. There we go, and then I'll load these up too, and then I'll evaluate how the symmetry is and load up these pistol mags. So stick with it. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this vest. I mean, I'm going to have a little bit of extra room right here for the butt pack to move to the left if I wish, or I can attach little things like maybe a little compass pouch or something that carries like an extra bandage if I want on here. It's not going to offset the weight too much, or I could add it over here if I wish, or over here. It doesn't matter. I can still add a couple small things on here, and that's the important thing, is I didn't use up all the weight and I still have extra ammunition. So instead of 3 ammo pouches on here, or a saw pouch in one of these ammo pouches, I just have 1 ammo pouch. I have a canteen here, so all my necessities are really within reach. And even with this medical pouch, I could tighten this thing up all the way and reach this medical pouch one hand with the emergency stuff and my non-crucial area, or pouch. So with all that said, that's pretty much as easy as it is to set up one of these systems, and the same process goes for the old LBE system. That's basically my way of setting up an Alice LBE gear, and including the LBV88. So I hope you found this video helpful, even though it was long. I apologize for that, but just trying to get the message across. So with all that said, go ahead and leave a comment below, and thanks a lot for watching.